All right, Coach, congratulations on the win. Quite simply, just your thoughts after two really kind of gutsy road performances that went down to the wire. Talk about just what you saw in the performance of the team today.
Yeah, the team was really well prepared, and those last two games were super emotional and draining and tough and physically taxing, and so yeah, you never quite know how that's going to affect your team. The preparation this week was strong, so I didn't see any changes that way from the last 3 weeks. I'm talking about from Wake Forest on, or maybe even going into Wake Forest, right? As the expectations and the demand has been increasing, and they've been answering the bell that way. I did not see the outcome or the type of game that this turned out to be. I did not see that coming. But I'm certainly thankful and grateful for the preparation our players put in and how clean and how well they played collectively. And, yeah, really proud of them.
Coach, it's no secret you're a coach with a defensive background, and clearly you've over the last several games said, I see market improvement every game. It's the first shutout since 2008 in conference play, and forcing 3 turnovers. You mentioned clean. Can you talk about the execution of your defensive unit and your coaching staff today?
Yeah, Coach Howell and Coach Papinga and Coach Hunter and Coach Sintum, as well as our GAs and Dante Wilkins and Chris Peace, who have been trained in this program, you can't work any harder. I mean, they've been working their guts out, and I'm grateful for that. And I've seen, right, our intent was to continue to build consistency and capacity, and that's what we saw today. But we have seen it, in my opinion, right, each game since UNC. Has it been perfect? No. Have there been lapses? Yes. But I have seen that trend, and I'm thankful for their work, their effort. But really, coaches can only coach if players let themselves be coached, and our team is responding well. And I'm happy for those kids to have that kind of success today. And turnovers matter, as we know, and just really pleased with a tangible result and reward for their work.
Last two things, Coach. In terms of offensively, much more production in the running game, and it came in a lot of different ways. Just what did you see from offensive line execution and production in your offense?
Yeah, just that. We knew, and again, I think, and I've said it before, I think Coach Cutcliffe is one of the best coaches in college football, and I like their schemes and I like their execution. And I didn't see this outcome, but what I did know is they were good in coverage, and they were good in pressure. And if we could, right, have a strong passing game, the run game then could be the complement at a higher level. And it played out like that, which is really helpful, which added just an element of uncertainty, I think, that helped us.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
We usually traditionally start with Jeff White, but since this has been at Conlon's last game as a beat writer for the Daily Progress.
Don't we have to vote if you leave or not? Because I vote no. Who do I talk to? That's not okay.
I was curious with the fumbles. I think there
He
were
just
7.
disregarded that, didn't he?
Just get right in. I think there were 7 fumbles in the game. Your team recovered 6 of them. Is that an effort thing? Is there good fortune with some of that?
I don't know, but I'll take both. A little bit rainy. I can't say that's for sure the reason. We try to practice any inclement weather we get. We always go out in it, especially offensively. So that probably contributed, but there were some hard hits as well, and we've got guys in casts and stuff. So I'm not positive, but man, to recover that many, and then to have another ball bounce off a goalpost, I'll take it all. And congratulations wherever you're going, and yeah, it's been good having you here.
Bronco, it's not often, particularly in an ACC game, that your reserves get to play as much as they did today. Knowing how hard those guys work in practice, is it especially gratifying to see them actually get a chance to play?
It's my favorite part. And we need depth, and we need to continue to develop that, and injuries happen down the stretch, and the collective players that played today they've been one play away here or there, and for them to get the number of snaps they got, which was basically a quarter and a half, and to hold the shutout, that mattered to them and us, and lots of smiles. And so when that happens, yeah, the team's always happy after a win, but when more players play, it's just better. And when anytime we can do that, I'm so thankful we can, because it's fun to be recognized.
Mike and Brad.
We can find a reason to label every game a must-win for you guys. That's kind of what we do. But this stretch here, where you have 2 games where you're the favorite, going to be the favorite, playing at home, how important is it to kind of keep that momentum and build something in this stretch of your schedule?
Yeah, it's essential. As you already mentioned, they all are, right? To win the Coastal, they all are. And we really framed it to where I'm just acting like we're waiting to get a call after the play to see if we get another game. And so really just thinking only about one, and if we play well, and when we play well, then they call us and say, hey, you got to play another one. And so that focus is really what's required, and we already know what we have to do to win the Coastal Division and how we have to do it. That's going to be one at a time, and so the next one is the next one. But I think that's the best way to frame it.
Bronco, I'm not a math person. I leave that to other people, but Brendan has been on an amazing run. He puts up another, that first half alone. I think he's like 700 yards and some change from the single season record. In terms of what you saw to pull him when you did, was that just about, his just trying to get other guys work, or were you a little worried about the knee and him taking some hits? What was your thinking in pulling him?
No, absolutely wanting to get other guys work. And we were hopeful for, at halftime, we had decided on one more score from where our existing margin was, and we thought that would be enough. And we've been wanting to get Jay Woolfolk in the game and get some work, knowing that Brennan has a knee and has been getting just so much work. And Jay got a little bit of work early, but it was really good to have him and Ira get some work. It's essential because you never know. And I was, so it just seemed the right time and the right opportunity, and yeah, I'm thankful for that.
Gene, then Doug.
Brock, just as a follow-up to that, what were your impressions of Brendan today? And it seems like we ask you every week. I mean, he just keeps doing amazing things. Just your thoughts.
Yeah, early on, and I don't want to come off as I told you so, right? I think he's the best quarterback in the ACC, and I wouldn't trade him for anyone. And I don't know what else he has to do for like there to be a campaign or something, and he wouldn't want that, nor do I. But he's really good.
You've spoken frequently over the years about Coach Cutcliffe and your relationship with him. How difficult was that after the game? Painful or whatever?
Very. Because I admire not only how Coach Cut does his job, but why he does his job. And there needs to be more of both in college football. And anytime someone doesn't have success doing that, especially now, I had mixed feelings from halftime on. Just, and I know there's a professional part, but there is a personal part, and it hurts me because of my support of him.
Hey,
Bro-
then Jeff.
Bronco, 6 possessions in the first half, and you scored at the end of each of them. What kind of learned killer instinct might that be? Maybe that's something the last 2 weeks have taught you, and how valuable is that to you as a coach?
Yeah, lots and lots of emphasis starting from Wake Forest. And it's starting to manifest, but it's not accidental. We've been intentional as what we have to do at a higher level to have the season that we want. And what you just mentioned has been targeted as one of those things. And really gratifying, and it doesn't always work, and you're never sure of the timing and how long it's going to take, but that has been our intent, and wow, does it make a difference. And so we started fast, and we were consistent finishing, and it wasn't long before the game was, going our way. And I didn't see it coming. I didn't know when it would come, but today was a great day.
When Dunkel got hurt in the middle of the Wake Forest game, would it have been unrealistic at that point to expect Farrell to come in and do what he's done since then?
Farrell was the player I chose to break the rock today after the last 3 weeks. So, and let's frame this, Hunter Pearson won the job, then got hurt running a fake in practice, a non-contact fake on grass. And then Dunkel who was then the second kicker, goes out, which then leads to Farrell, who wasn't taking reps kicking field goals. He was just taking reps punting, and he just puts it through the uprights, and it's an amazing story. So he was my choice. He broke the rock today, and yeah, it's a great story. And I don't want to make too big a story because I want it just to keep going like it is. But man, it's awesome.
Coach, you mentioned Brennan's knee, and I'm curious, in the first quarter, he had a couple runs that really kind of put the defense back on their heels. If he can get to 100% healthy, what does that add to you guys?
Watch out. Because that's currently not and hasn't been, and we've stayed away from that. But you can see when we let him, wow, is that hard? It's already hard, but that's really hard.
Is it hard, when you said you let him, is it hard to stop him at times from?
Oh, yeah, because he wants to win. And we're the governor. And, yeah, we want to win too. However, we're going to win different than that right now. And we'll add that when needed and when you're healthy. So we just opened it a little bit and then pulled it back.
We'll go to Jerry and Bennett for our last two questions.
Dontavian made a great catch
Yeah.
for your first touchdown. Just talk about his ability to catch some of those incredible passes that.
I think we all were kind of feeling like we wanted to wear black armbands when Lavelle Davis went down, and like, how are we going to function? And how we're going to function is Dontavian Wicks. And can you imagine them both being healthy? Now that would be fun. But Dontavian, to his credit, and has just stepped in and up to replace Lavelle from a year ago. And we were hopeful, and we believed it would and could. Didn't know how fast. But, yeah, and I'm not going to say, right, that we haven't missed a beat, right, because who would know with Lavelle back? But so thankful for Dontavian's efforts, consistency, and work to fill that role.
Big picture, it's the first time you're over 500 at UVA, 35 and 34. You personally, what does that kind of say about the growth of the program over the last couple of years?
Wow, when you start 2-10, that's a pretty big pit to you need the ice axes and stuff to repel. No, repelling's going down, right? Yeah, that's a big hole, and I didn't know, and I'm not paying attention, but I want UVA to be successful, and I want our success on the field. I want scholar athletes. I want service. I want everything. And yeah, that doesn't mean I don't want to win the Coastal and win the ACC either. And so thanks for pointing that out. Still wish you were staying. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.